Let's go, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the LA Poker Roundup. Oh, and if you're like Derek, get off your phone, pay attention, let's listen up. All right. It is February 4th, 2025. This is episode 71. We have got a good one for you today. We're going to have a special surprise guest for a small segment of this particular episode, but we are coming at you dead in the center of the LAPC. We've got a lot of results from around LA to bring to you like usual. And then after that, we're going to go over some of the grumblings that have been happening in the past week there, and go figure. Surprise, put on your shocked face, Derek. The mixed game players are complaining.
I think the only people that complain more than No Limit Hold'em players are mixed game players.
But no, they have some serious gripes, and you know what? I think they really dovetail with some of the suggestions that we've made, or some of the concerns we've had the past few weeks as well about things. And then after that, we'll cover some of the kind of controversy that's been popping up. We don't usually talk about online, but there have been some big kind of headlines and kind of a lot of egg on some people's faces out there in the online streets. So we're going to go over some of those controversies, touch a little bit on, how we did this past weekend at LAPC. And then, take a look around. I mean, LAPC has been going kind of crazy with the bounty tournaments. They've been having a lot. We're going to be on our third big multi-day bounty tournament coming up here, right? But some other places, I guess it's just the season, because the Lodge had itself a really weird, fun, wacky bounty event as well. So we'll go over, see what kind of ideas we can pull from that, and then a little bit of recurring topic, everyone's favorite topic to talk about. We're going to talk about table talk. We're going to do a little speech about speech play. It's come up again. It's one of Savage's least favorite topics, and there's a little bit of article about it. So, all right. Well, with that, why don't we hop in and get to the results? I mean, we are honestly this week we're kind of rich with results. And Sammy, glad to see it in the chat there. Sammy, I don't know if I'm going to find you in these results, but I know that you kicked things off for these guys. Jeff over at the Bike has got a plethora of results for the dailies that he's been holding back on us. So let's zip through some of these winners. So he has results all the way from the beginning of the year, back here on 12/28. So let's get going. So back on Saturday, December 28th, the winner was Dylan Morris. Second was Masis Zakarian. I'm not going to read all of them because he has a lot. So let's just get some of the winners in the top folks.
That is a lot of results.
Yeah, it is. So then on Sunday, December 29th, looks like the top 3 or 4 looks like they chopped. Probably the top 3 here. So congratulations to Philippe Rivera, Gevorg Arzumanian, and Ilya Spiner. Ooh, man, these are tough ones.
Clearing 47.50 for first is not bad for, a daily.
Yeah,
so
it's a 250 entry. So
yeah, just like we're giving kudos to the Gardens, kudos to the Bike for, bringing dailies back and doing a good job.
And just wait until we get to the next week when they upped the guarantee. So, or maybe it was 2 weeks from here. So Saturday, January 4th, this one looks like, there may not have been, if there's a chop, it was 7-way. Looks like 7-way chop. So congratulations to Christian Gottwald, Francisco Corrales, Jared Sains, Shant Sulakian, Jay Kanashiro, Alan Kasena, and Larry Trammell for chopping that way 7 ways on Saturday the 4th. And with that 7-way chop, it was still about $4,000 for first. So nicely done. See, Sammy final tabled on Sunday at the Bike, but I don't think those results are up yet, so you're going to have to wait a minute for us to call your name out for me to mispronounce that one for you, Sammy. On the January 5th, it was first place. It looks like we had maybe a 6-way chop. What do you think? No, 7. It looks like a 7-way chop to me. First place, Hake Papoyan. Second place, Varujan Haddad. Third place, Raymond Guerrero. Fourth place, Joby Leon. Fifth, Levin Mikirchian. Sixth, Cesar Alcaraz. And seventh, Larry Hongtran. So congratulations to all of those. Looks like a 7-way chop on that day. All right. Not stopping because we have got more results. Let's go. Way to go, Jeff. I would appreciate them every week, but we'll do them when we get them. All right. Saturday, January 11th. This looks like it was a 5-way chop, possibly 4. So we'll think it's 5. So first place, Chu Kin Lu, fifth, got 5K for that. These things were getting bigger. Second place, Daryl De Vera, Flores De Vera. Third place, Robert Gill. Oh, Rob Gill got third that week. I think I remember hearing about that. Fourth place, Jose Morales. And fifth place, Zhao Wei Yuan. So congratulations to all of you. I see Roscoe Hayden, spoiler alert. Remember that name? He got 8th place that week. On Sunday, January 12th, prize pool was $13,000 this week. I think this is the last week that the guarantee was only $10K. So first place, it looks like there was maybe a 4-way chop. First place was over $4,000. Albert Leklian. Second place, actually, maybe there was no chop. $4,000 and $2,000. Second place, Sargis Asarian. Third place, Nelda Marquez. And fourth place, Alan Sachs. So congratulations to all of you. The next week, Saturday, January 18th, we had a $20,000 prize pool. So this may have overlaid this week, guys. First place was Avitas Hakimian. Second place, Zhao Wei Yuan. I think we just read that name, so we got some regs in here. Third place, Steven Vitalich. Fourth place, Nam Trin. And I'd say this was a 9-way chop based on the jump from 10 to 9, so we'll keep reading these ones. Fifth place, Joby Leon. Sixth place, Raymond Lawley. Seventh place, Maria Lalu. Eighth place, Arsene Shumilov. And ninth place, Hosin Kodaparast. Don Bolt got 10th. Yep, just missing that final table. And also, and look, there's Sammy Alarachede. I did my best, man. You'll have to correct me when you see me down there in 13th. And remember, guys, the bike has a free roll that's going to happen, and I believe it's going to be the opening week of the opening weekend of their Winning on the Green series. They're going to have a 50K free roll for people. You earn chips and you earn the seats by playing lots of tournaments, these weekend tournaments. Here we go. Like I said, Sunday, January 19th, they switched the guarantee over to a 20K. So it's a 20K on Sundays and Saturdays now, the guarantee. And this was, I think, very sharp. In fact, I may have went this day because if you recall, we've been mentioning that the Sunday one-days that are happening over at LAPC at the Commerce when other events are doing their day twos no longer have a guarantee. So those events have no guarantee. They still are pulling a decent number. We had like 170, I think-ish people in the event or something, maybe 180 on Sunday. But there's no guarantee, so who knows what it's going to be. I think it's pretty easily going to be about around a 40K prize pool every time. I think we had about 50, but, no guarantee. And this is cheaper, $250. So very sharp, very sharp thing to do. This looks like they had a 8-way chop based on the payouts here. So first place, Mark Flatley. Second place, Jason Chun. Third place, Gordon Anderson. Fourth place, Ryan Locke. Fifth place, Ivan Yusefian. Sixth place, Robert Van der Hayden. Seventh place, Raymond Myung. And eighth place, Kerry Kirkpatrick. And down there in 10th, I see Mr. Donald Bolt again, but they put his name backwards this time. So,
Donald.
Yeah, Don, make sure, Mr. Bolt, Donald, make sure they get that right when they submit to Hendon, or you might end up having 2 profiles, one Donald Bolt and one Bolt Donald.
Wait, I forgot they were putting all the dailies on Hendon. That's right.
Yeah. If nothing else, they could just send Hendon like his Twitter and be like, "Hey, here's the picture." Of course, that's why I'm saying double check. All right. That's the 25th. Okay, so the last set of results from the Bike Dailies, Saturday, January 25th. This looks like it was a 6-way chop, and first place was over $5,000. So once again, well done for Dailies. Daryl Flores de Vera. I feel like I said that name already. First place, congrats. Scott Kendall Haven. Third place, Masis Zakarian. Fourth place, Chu Kin Lu. And fifth place, Rick Yang Sung Woo. Sixth place, Robert Tobin. So congratulations to those 6 choppers. I am seeing a lot of names, some repeat names in this thing, so it's getting some really strong, loyal daily players here. It's cool. See Caleb Benton, shout out, number 17th there, min cash. All right, Sunday, January 26th. This was a Sunday. Prize pool for the Sunday one was actually bigger than the Saturday one, so definitely sharp for them to up that guarantee. On this one, it looks like we had ourselves a 7-way chop. First place on this one was actually smaller than the previous, so but not by much. 4,800 for first place. So Luis Concha got first place. Second place, Arutian Arakelian. I believe I said that name pretty recently. Third place, Artak Babian. Is that Kevin? Fourth place, Shahin Matroshian. Fifth place, James Zulaika. And sixth place, David Hessett. And seventh place, Robertus Devok. So congratulations to the 6 of you who cashed and chopped that guy up. Last one they have results up for Saturday, February 1st, just this past Saturday. So I guess, yeah, Sammy, I guess the one that you foul tabled is the absolute last one. They did not want to put the results up. They're saving it. So congratulations. This 20K looks like there was a slight overlay. So guys, these 250s, every now and again, they do overlay, depending on what's going on out there. Not quite sure why this one did. Saturday, February 1st, what was going on that day? Maybe just, First place, it looks like, so first off, it looks like it was an 8-way chop. So congratulations. First place was June Flores, over $3,000. Second place, Michael Stella. Third place, Aaron Malkin. Fourth place, Rob DeVok. Fifth place, Khalil Musle. Sixth place, Frederick Stallworth. Seventh place, Bahram Mesri. And eighth place, Carl Crandall. So congratulations to all of you. Woo, that is a lot of results. Thank you, Jeff. And remember, these tournaments, they are using the new chipset. I have seen them. I played with them. They're pretty nice. They're really cool. They're not quite as, their good quantum set kind of has like a plastic finish to them, right? These kind of have a similar material, but they're not shiny like that. So it's kind of like that same weight and kind of the same corners and edges-ish sort of, but they're not like, they don't have that plastic reflection to them, So they're pretty cool. Very nice chips. And like I said, remember, they do have a free roll coming Sunday, March 9th. Actually, that is not the first weekend of the winning on the green. I believe the first weekend of the winning on the green will be the end of February, if I recall.
I wonder if these will be in a new day 2 quantum chips. What do you think?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm a little sad that they busted them out for these dailies. Maybe they thought it'd be good for promo purposes, which is fine, but I would have really liked to see them get a big reveal on a day 2.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to results from, hold on. I didn't pull them up. Moving on to results from the Gardens. So the Gardens this past week, that was a fun tower. Last set of results, January 30th I think 28th is the last time we had a show. So the last results here, that's the last one we did. Over at the Gardens, still having they do $130 tournaments. So their non-Friday night one, right? Their non-Friday nights are $130 tournaments. So remember, half as much buy-in, but huge prize pool still. So here on the 30th, Long Tran took home over $3K, including bounties. And it was an 8-way chop on that Wednesday event. So that Wednesday event, $20,900 in the prize pool. And remember, like I said, that's $130 buy-in. So very impressive.
Gardens constantly killing it.
Absolutely. And then here, the final 3 chopped the Thursday event. Here's the picture. And the people, Iraj Borumand and William Jankowski and Behruz Shishigar. So congrats to all of you. The top chopper there got about $4,000. I'm guessing it's that fella. Look at that. Is it just me? The guys on the end seem like they could be related almost. If you put the hat on that guy, it'd be like, They certainly have a similar style. Congratulations to you 3 for chopping that up. Here we have big time reg. I think everybody who plays down at the Gardens and around will recognize Sang Park. He took down the Friday bounty. Takes down the final 5 players. Yeah, he took down the Friday bounty, which is the earlier event. Got over 2,400 plus bounty in a 5-way chop. And then the 5 p.m. Monster Stack, that's the $250 tournament, got to a $36,600 prize pool, 183 entries. Holy cow. That's $36,000 is, some of these Sunday $400 at the Commerce have been getting around that prize pool. So this week we got bigger.
That's really wild.
Holy cow. And
Yeah, it's like a Friday.
yeah,
Was it Friday?
it was
That's
Friday night.
insane.
And Mr. Donald Bolt got 4th here, so nice month of
Man,
cashing and final tabling Don's been having. So way to go, DJ.
yeah.
And then we had another event, the Saturday event, 144 entries, and that looks like it ended in a 3-way chop as Musa Taleh, double shot of McKellen on the rocks there next to him, I guess. He took home the most in the 3-way chop for 3,500. Congratulations to Musa, or Mousa. I'm guessing it's Musa. All right, that's what we have from the Gardens. Whew. All right. I am going to start bringing up pictures and letting Derek read because I need a break.
All right, I'm down. Let's go.
All right, so let's
Although
start
we're on
here.
like a 5-second delay, so I'm gonna be a little
5-second delay. Geez. Okay, if it's real bad, I'll go back to it. But
Okay. Yeah.
all right, here we go. Triple draw event.
Not yet. Not
Not
yet.
yet. All right, I guess I'll do it. You do this one. I'll do the rest.
All right. So for the mixed triple draw event at the LAPC Commerce Casino, looks like we had 11 people cash. A little bit small on my screen, but it looks like first place went to Mustafa Farah. Congratulations to Mustafa, clearing 83.95 in the Remington Trophy, the coveted Remington Trophy, of which I still do not have one. We have Fong Tran getting
Just Linda Tran.
second there, 53.60. Oh, is that Linda?
Yep, that's what it says
Okay,
up
Linda
top.
Tran.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Okay. Paul Liu, Ryan Coe, Taxi from Mio Santana Vargas, David Margolis, David Liu, Carlos Rodriguez, and Harry Danielian rounding out the top 9. So congratulations to all of you. Really, really nice prize pool.
Yeah, 63 players for the mixed triple. And once again, mixed triple draw is the only one we've ever played, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we got to
It's
get back
fun.
to those streets.
Yeah, it's fun.
If only we didn't have to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Other events going on. And, shout out. Thank you. Thanks, Kevin, for putting this results tab in this results category. After hearing us last week complain about not being able to navigate the website,
Oh,
he
nice.
popped
Good
that
job,
in there
Kevin.
for us, and he's starting to tag all the
man.
results. So thank you very much. This helps a lot. And it's not just us. When people want to brag and go on the site and show people, it's really hard to find your posts sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. So the Big Bounty event had 110 players. Mosh Levy and Juan Redinger both took home over 5K in a heads-up chop, so congratulations to both of them. And I believe, they don't have a picture here, but I believe we do. If I can just, that was the Big Bounty event, right? Was this the Big Bounty event? Nope, that's the triple stud. I believe Frank got us the pictures that we are looking for. It's just, sometimes it's hard to find them. Because there are just so, mixed game. All right, maybe we don't have that particular one, but congratulations to Mosh Levy and Juan Redinger. Third place was Carl Morris. Fourth place, Mr. Paul Wynn. And fifth place, Lamb Wynn. Sixth place, Andy Garcia. Man, just reading like the all the biggest regs at the Gardens. This is like the Gardens Daily. Seventh,
Yeah.
Patrick Chen. Eighth, Ronald Ballack. Ninth, Alfredo Pacheco. So congratulations for that final table. Way to go, guys. Next up in the results, we have the 6 Max. Familiar smiling face here. Congratulations to Sohail. Did he not? I feel like we just read his name for winning one. Was this the one that am I double reading, or does he have 2 trophies now or something? I could have swore we just said he won something.
I think it was a 6 Max.
Oh, okay, so maybe
Last
I'm double
time.
reading. Okay.
Yeah, you want
That's
double
fine.
reading, yeah.
I'm okay with that. So 6 Max. If I'm double reading, so be it. Congratulations, Sohal, for getting the win. I'm guessing it looks like an outright. No, it looks like outright win, no chop. So first place, Sohal. Second place, Ben Hoy. Third place, Hamid Reza Soleimani. Fourth place, Lam Win. He's been grinding this week. I can tell you he did good in another event we'll be talking about near the end here. Fifth, Samson Ekrex. Sixth, Luis Reynoso, and that is the final table. Paul Wynn still grinding it out as well. He just missed the final table of the 6 Max in 7th place, so way to go.
Yeah, I think he's going to be putting more distance between himself and everyone else.
Luckily for everyone else, that one doesn't count because it was a small weekday event, luckily for everyone else.
There you go.
But yes, he is currently at the top, and I will be updating those results later this week. Commerce been getting the results to Hendon pretty fast, so we got some more results to put in there. This event only had 41 players, but, for a mixed game event, maybe that's all right. A 41 event Blah, blah, blah. What is the event? It just says event 41. The headline maybe says Omaha 8. So the $500 Omaha 8 event draws some poker star power, and Philip Wexler beat Alan Kessler heads up for the title. It looks like they made a little deal, and then they played for, had a deal and played for the win. So way to go, Philip. And congratulations, Alan. Third place in this table was Tomoharu Furuyu. Fourth place, Joseph Aronesty. Fifth place, Philip Penn. Sixth place, Jeremy Yap. Seventh place is Alex Ferrari. Looks like a pay the bubble situation. Congratulations, all you Omaha players. Also here, we have now the triple stud. 54 players came out for triple stud. Top two were Albert Shim and Frankie Odell, who chopped heads up, each getting over $6,000. Looks like 66 for Albert and 6,200 for Frankie. Very common names in the LA mixed streets. Third place, Kwang Win. Fourth place, Patrick Schultz. Fifth place, Saeed El Sanifiri. Sixth place, Manju Guerra. There's a name we all know. Congratulations, Manju. Oh, yeah. Seventh place, Alan Kessler. He cashed another one. I think that's back to back there. So I have a feeling we're going to be seeing Alan's name a lot more in these mixed events. So we keep moving forwards. And then looks like another pay the bubble. Congrats, Duke Viveros. All right, that's the triple stud. Now, the one-day mystery bounty event that was going on. So all that week, the Year of the Snake mystery bounty day ones were happening, but they decided to run a mystery bounty on top of the mystery bounty day one flights. I don't understand why, but they did. Let's run a one-day event of the same multi-day event we're running at about the same price point. I just don't get it. But it worked. They got 112 players came out for this thing. So right at the top here, we have some very familiar names. Congratulations, Adele Barron, and congratulations, Beth Hall. Beth got second place in this thing. So third place, Preston Pats. Spoiler alert, remember that name. Fourth place, Anher Flores. Fifth place, Hein Thatch. Sixth place, Brandon Williams. Seventh place, Sunny Wong. And eighth place, Raina Davis. And ninth place, Jay Song. That sounds like one of the Commerce Pros, if I recall. So way to go, all of you. Beth was narrowly missing her. Has she gotten a Remington yet?
I don't know, but she's been freaking deep in everything. I mean, she's just like, it's all the big ones. She's just so deep. Mm-hmm. And also just a shout out to Preston, who's also in the chat right now.
Oh, is he? Yeah, we'll get to his picture eventually. Did we do this last week? Let's see, how long ago was that? If we didn't get to this one, let me just jump back real quick before I forget. Congrats to Larry, the floor guy, Larry Jovial, or Joe Vile, however you know him. He won one of the Win Dailies up there in Vegas last week. So congrats to Larry. And as I was saying, I was looking for some pictures. That's going to be a different event, and that's going to be.
It's a freaking awesome picture because it's awesome sunglasses, man.
Oh yeah, that was the all bounty one. Okay, so the other mixed game event, the next one on the schedule. This is I don't know if there's something wrong with my page. Oh, there is. Yeah, all right. There's something wrong with the font on mine because I cannot see the headlines. Do you see this? This is crazy. Headlines the exact same color as the background on my screen for some reason. So the Game of Throws mixed game event, that got 80 players, and it was David McCaw defeating David Liu for the win. So congratulations to David McCaw getting that Remington. Third place, Patrick Stacey. Fourth place, Ingo Clayson. Fifth place, Gina Hecht. Sixth place, Mir Gascari. We know him from all sorts of... he was final table of one of the circuit opener this past November, so Mir's a big rag here. Seventh place, Fanny Paulavith. And sixth place, Polly Wu. I'm guessing that's the entire final table, because it's mixed games. So congratulations. I see Craig Chait and Manju Guerra's name on the cash list here as well, as long as Mr. Sean Yu and David Baker. I believe the younger Bakes is the one we're looking at there.
Yep.
So congrats.
Man, these mixed fields are just, I don't know, stacked with killers up and down.
Yeah, it's making you want to play less, right?
Exactly. Well, you know what? I think I would only be playing to learn anyway, and this is actually a good way to learn to sit with these guys.
You want to watch people who you can emulate and do well with, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Sammy doesn't have a Remington too, so he can fight you for best without a Remington there. He can be on the list.
I might die with that one. Who knows?
You just might. All right, so let's move on to the big multi-day event of the week. So it was the Year of the Snake Bounty, Mystery Bounty event. and it looks like there was a heads-up chop between Yosif Nawabi and Roscoe Hayden. Remember that name from before. And then it looks like they had a little bit of a save, and they played for the trophy, which Yosif won. So congratulations. Nice picture. I don't know what it is, but this throwing the cards picture thing is just completely taking over.
Yeah.
Also, man, I got to say, every single one of these pictures, the way they arrange it with there's like a big Remington statue in the back, and it's just lined up with this front statue. It freaks me out every single picture because they're always lined up in some weird way.
I don't
always
even
see a
notice
double.
that.
Some of these pictures, they look like a mutant horse. Like it looks like the horse is coming out of the elbow
like
of another
two
horse,
heads,
and like
yeah.
I can't find the guy's head. It's so weird. It's just, every time I see these pictures, I do a double.
I didn't even notice that because it's just like a big mass.
Exactly,
So
like it's just
now
it's
I
like
cannot see it.
yeah, because you see a trophy and it's like, isn't that supposed to be a Remington? But it's just a big brass
I wonder,
mess, you know?
I wonder if that's intentional.
I don't know. It's in most of the pictures, or the ones I used to look at. It seems like I think it's just the way that they arranged it behind the, behind there. Anyways, congratulations. Do they have the whole? Oh, they don't actually have the things. Let's go and see if Frank pulled those. Frank, where you at? Yes, he did. All right. So moving over to the LA Poker Roundup page. First place, Yosif Nawabi, 32 grand plus bounties. Second place, Roscoe Hayden, 27 grand plus bounties. Third place, Andrew Ding. Fourth place, William Kerkert. Fifth place, Mitchell Lubarski. Sixth place, Jesus Ayala. Seventh place, Alfred Cho. Eighth place, Heather Williams. And ninth place, Beth Hall. She had a lot of chips when there were 2 tables left and just ran into some unfortunate. I think she just lost a couple bad flips and then got had one unlucky hand. So that's how it goes. But making another final table, way to go. Other thing to note is that the big bounties were pulled by Christopher Williams. He actually basically finished in second place because he pulled both of the top bounty of 20K and the third biggest bounty of 10K. So he got 30K just in bounty. So he's the real winner here. He won first place money and got to go home early. So all right.
Kyra was actually telling me it was really funny when he was like spinning the bounty envelopes, and he said that one was just stuck on the side.
Okay.
And I think every person that came up, he kept saying, I think that's a 20K one. I think that's a 20K one. And no one was pulling it. And then when somebody finally went and grabbed it, it was the 20K.
Oh, wow. Man, I really hope he did not put them in the barrel, but that is funny. Yeah, nobody believed him. All right, I think this is one of the last results we have from the weekend. This is the Sunday one day. So you can see the horses lined up again here. And these are the kind of ones that were messing with me because I'd look and I'd be trying to find like where the guy is or the head, and then my eyes just follow into the other one, and I'm just like, what's going on? Congratulations to Preston Pats taking this one down for nearly 14 grand. This had 181 entries on Sunday, so way to go. It looks like there was no chop, so 13 grand for first. Second place, Juan Hernandez, way to go. Third place, Andre de Montesquieu. Fourth place, Mark Robinson with his patented donkey hat. Fifth place, Lam Win. Been reading his name a lot in these results. Sixth place, Thun Win. Seventh place, Michael Dries. Eighth place, Danny Chen. Ninth place, Wolf Kramer. And also, cashing this thing, we have Uncle Paul there in 10th. We've got, I cashed this as well in 16th. And that looks like the last name I recognize. But congrats to everybody. Congrats to Preston. Way to go.
No, I can't unsee this double Remington.
Right?
I don't think I've even noticed before now. I just can't.
Yeah, they just line up. Here, this one's got a good angle, so you can almost. They're different. This one didn't really get. Did this one get? Oh, I think I remembered J Song. This is was a weird one. This event was number 27. It was the All Bounty, which had literally no prize pool, only bounties. So apparently, a bounty was worth a 5 bounty final table. And so bounties are worth $100 until they hit a certain point in the tournament, and then they got bigger. I'm not sure how much bigger, maybe roughly 500 because you got 2,400 for 5 more bounties. So this was nothing but bounties and knockouts. So Jay got first place.
How do you track the results for that?
They just put in the amount of money everyone won, I guess. Or they don't report it all. I don't know. They have to though, right? So
it's like a long tail of people with like one bounty. There's like
and my understanding, Frank, you can back us up in the chat. You said somebody finished very high, in the final table and didn't make a penny. So
I would love to see the distribution. I would love to just see the stats on this, like a pure bounty tournament with no prize pool. How many people got bounties? How many
Right?
people only got one bounty? Right? I would love to see those numbers. Is it half? Is it half the
I don't
people get
know.
bounties?
We'll have to ask.
Yeah,
We'll have to ask Kyle, or
yeah,
if they do put it into, if it is in Hendon, we'll have to take a look.
yeah.
All right. Let me double check our Instagram. What's the latest result? Yep, that's the latest result Frank has, which makes me think that is the latest result we've got. Cool. So, man, I need to take a break. I need to take a drink of water. I don't think we've had that many results in a while.
That was a lot of results.
Yeah. Um, so I didn't play a ton this week. I played once, but as we alluded to, there were a lot, and as you've seen, there are a lot of mixed games happening, and we don't know much about mixed games. But just for you guys, we brought in the expert. We brought in the number one in authority on the mixed game scene, and
One and only.
yeah, the one and only Brian Hastings. Welcome, Brian.
Hey guys, good to be here.
Hey, all right. So Brian is here for several reasons. The first off, to give us an update on his ignition cheating ring expose. So for those of you who don't know, last week Brian was playing. Was it last week? Right. He was playing on Ignition, and he discovered some extremely blatant collusion and cheating happening on there. And obviously, as any responsible person would do, vowed to never play on Ignition again until next Sunday, I think was what he said, right?
Probably the next day, but yeah.
You're not playing on there right
Being
now,
smart.
are you?
Not at the moment, no. But
Okay.
being more selective, but still playing a few tournaments.
All right. And Brian is actually grinding right now, so we'll try not to tie him up with too much goofy stuff. We will actually swing back around and talk about that at the end, though. And if you want to hang out for a couple minutes more, we can chat about that too. No, the real reason we brought Brian on is because there's been a lot of grumbling down at Commerce about the structures of these mixed games. And structures of the tournaments is something that Derek and I have been, complaining about, talking about, pondering a lot and very vocally the last couple weeks. But about Hold'em tournaments, right? We have no idea what a good mixed game structure looks like, to be honest. I don't know how many big blinds is playable. We don't know how many. What I don't know if the big blind is a big bet. I think it's half a big bet. I don't know. So I'm gonna bring your tweet up. Yeah, I'm gonna bring your tweet up, and maybe to egg you on. Let's start with I'm gonna start with Kessler's tweet today of telling everyone, hey, the 1100 Omaha 8s today. It's a generous structure. Day one plays to the money. Let's go. So what are your thoughts when you see that it says generous structure, right? And I'm bringing your tweet up now, so feel free to reference it.
Well, I know he means like you'll get a lot of play, like be able to play a lot of hours for your buy-in. But I mean, I think the problem just come and to be clear, I mean, I've been talking with Alan as well, and he's he's open to suggestions and stuff. Like, if he has some preferences that differ from others, but yeah, I mean, I think personally for these like $1,100 like weekday mix events, doesn't make too much sense for them to be an 18-hour tournament. I mean, the one yesterday got 59 players, and I mean, for me, like I played about a little over like 10 and a half hours or so, at least from the start, and busted 15th with 8 paying. So it just felt like a little much. Like, I mean, I know obviously you guys have, have jobs and you're play on the side, so you're sensitive to this. I mean, for me, this is my thing, but like, the family, I mean, I'm up at 6:30 in the morning, getting home from school. So yeah, I mean, it did actually finish a little bit earlier than I thought it would, since, I busted at about 11:40 and I guess they bagged just before 1. So it wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought it would go till like maybe like 2 or 3. But still just feels a little extreme. And yeah, I think there's just a few easy things they could do to speed it up. And it seemed like when I posted today, I was more just like trying to get a feel for what if others like felt the same way. And it seems like a lot of people do. So yeah, I think just like a few simple things would help speed it up a bit. And just, I think the field would be happier with it in general.
Yeah, I think that's a general sentiment even on No Limit side. I don't I don't know, at one point the sentiment changed, but definitely people are always, oh, we want like super slow, long structures and everything. But now I just feel like things are kind of sliding back the other way, where it's like, hey, we don't need to start with freaking like 500 big blinds to start a tournament,
Yeah.
right? And we also need to be playing like 15-hour days. It's just insane.
Yeah, I think most people are realizing just like these early levels, like yeah, you start with yeah, like 300 big blinds or whatever. Like that's ultimately not going to matter so much. I mean, yeah, it can be nice for slow players to pick up chips in those levels, but yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, you're going to get to a point in like a no limit tournament where the average is 20 to 30 big blinds usually, or in mixed, like the average is like 10, 12 big bets. So
Yeah.
bring it up like this tournament started off with 75 big bets. Like there's just no need for that. Even Alan today said that. He said he would cut out the first level.
Yeah.
Wow. So,
Because
go ahead, go ahead. I was just gonna ask what other changes. You got Allen to concede the first level. What other changes do you think would make the structures better?
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, I did want to mention also. I spoke to Cairo on the phone today as well, and he's listening to this. He said he had a meeting today to talk to them about stuff. So yeah, I think the first level is probably the most realistic one for like this series, because some other stuff like after you get the structure sheets posted and everything, it's like hard to like say like changing the start time. Like you started at 1 p.m. Like if they started at 11 a.m. or something with like the deeper levels, it would be more fine because then people who don't care to play 75 big bets can just show up a little bit later and it just kind of works out okay. Um, so that would be, yeah, I mean, changing the start time would be one, but I understand how that's tough to do mid series.
Right, right.
Another one I like is just speeding it up a bit, like shorter levels, at least for the first, like at the beginning. Like I think like free, like the end of Reg, like my thought was like maybe like do like 8 30-minute levels and then close Reg time, something like that.
yeah,
Whereas like currently it's 9 40-minute levels before the end of Reg. So yeah, I mean it was like 6 hours, just lengthy, and yeah, it was just like a lot of time where like nobody's really busting. Like at least in like a no limit tournament, like the first few levels, there's still some bust outs. Like in
yeah.
mix, there's just like none for a few hours, like when they start this deep. So yeah, and it also just keeps the prize pool down a little bit because there's not many bust outs, so therefore not many reentries.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
that's really frustrating.
Yeah, and that's something that we're pointing out with some of the deeper no limit events, especially with them starting without ante and whatnot. It's like, man, if we're sitting here at like 250 big blinds deep and just no one can bust, like I can't bust. I want to bust and I can't. It's like you're hurting yourselves. I would rebuy. People would rebuy. Have you
You've
guys?
never busted 250 big blinds deep before?
I have, but it's hard. It's hard, especially like I go over when I go over to the dailies. So the dailies at the bike, they're giving you 50K chips. So when you start out, you're 250 bigs deep, and it's like as badly as I try to play, I still have like 20K left after a couple hands, and it's like, how do I still have chips? There's a problem here. No, so one thing I find really interesting is, have you guys floated or has anybody tried the Savage Average concept with mixed games or something like it, right? Because it sounds like
Um,
what you're saying, and I kind of agree with it for Hold'em too, but it sounds like you're saying is there's sort of maybe there's some sweet spots that are there are areas that are just like it seems more extreme, the areas that are just not useful in the structure for mixed games, and then other areas that are maybe it seems more sensitive to what the levels are maybe than what Hold'em is.
Yeah, so I saw Matt in the replies today, proposing that, and I know Craig Chait was in the comments like talking with Matt about that. I know they've tried it for mix other places. I'm not sure exactly how that went. I know I saw some random person complaining about how it went in the comments as well. I could see that being like a sticking point, like, oh, if you do a savage average for mix, then what should the average be? Because like there's a huge difference if you make it, 8 big bets or 12 big bets, for example. So
Sure.
like yeah, like for no limit again, like if you make it whatever 30 or 40 big blinds, like you're still gonna get some bust outs, but at a certain point in mix, it's gonna go just it's gonna change the speed of the tournament like drastically, just moving it by like a couple bets. So
Sure.
I think it could be worth experimenting with, but I'm not positive it would work well. I don't know, maybe.
We have Anthony Patessa in the chat, local. I know he's a beast at Omaha, a mixed game player as well. He's saying that one, he was saying for these things that they would really benefit from either longer levels or shallower starting stacks. But as far as Savage Average goes, he's chiming in. He's thinking that it would probably he thinks 12 and a half big bets ish would be great for split pot in his opinion. But just
Yeah, that makes sense, but I could also see that ending up too slow. I'm not sure though.
Sure, sure. And I'll once again, if anyone's listening, pass it on to Savage. My excitement about the Savage average concept is not to keep it the same the whole thing, but have somebody who's really sharp, or a tournament director who's really on top of things, control the pacing, almost like he's the DJ of the tournament, right? Like, I want the beginning, the pre-reg, the buy-in period to have a certain average. I want the pre-bubble to have a certain average. I want the soft bubble / bubble to have a certain average. I want the in the money to have a certain average, and like have that is what you list, and you adjust the knobs like that. That's what I think would be amazing.
Yeah, the one Savage average that I played was 30 BBs all the way through in the very beginning. I felt like I had like a vice around my neck. It was like really tough. It was like, you're thrust already into like that mid-late stage, like right in the beginning. So yeah, I definitely like a more of a graduated approach.
Definitely is different, but yeah, I mean, it just gets away from that time where like, nobody's really busting. But I realize some people like having that time to just play for a little bit when like there's not too much blood before it like really gets real. But Ty, my initial thoughts with your comments is just like, seems too complicated. Like,
it would be complicated. Yeah, it would be.
And mad and have grievances and all kinds of things. I mean, I like where your head's at, but in practice, just knowing how players can get be hard to pull off.
Yeah. No, I definitely would agree. It would be much more complicated and hard to explain for sure. Maybe an online implementation. But you kind of alluded to this. Some players love having that, like, huge deep time where you're less pressure. There are a lot of different players that try to play all these events, right? So here Alan is kind of making the point that, well, look, $1,100, maybe that's not a huge buy-in to a lot of you guys, but to some other people that is a really big buy-in. They don't want that to be a turbo. So kind of how do you feel like the ecosystem of mixed games, the hierarchy of buy-ins for mixed games kind of goes, right? Especially, having played in LA a little longer now, or getting to know the mixed game community around here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely sensitive to that. I know people are going to have different preferences there. So yeah, I would say just kind of like getting a good like public opinion of the field is probably the best way to do it, and see like, I mean, it seems like, at least from, I mean, obviously the people on Twitter isn't like the whole sample of the field.
Right.
It seems like most people who weighed in, including just some of the LA regs who, just play a lot of these mixed events, seem to agree with that line of thinking. Just saying it's too slow. Like Jeremy Haney, for example, who's on on here. You guys know him well.
Yep, we do. Yeah, we almost had him on to talk with you, but too many. Our windows would get too small. We wouldn't be able to see Derek's face.
Yeah, but I agree though. Like, I definitely don't want like me and 3 other people like pushing the consensus if everybody else feels the opposite. But I mean, seemingly most people do feel this way.
Right. No, definitely good points. And my counterpoint, not counterpoint, but the point I would make, and this is where my lack of any actual knowledge of how mixed game tournaments flow comes in. But like, just looking at the numbers, like, because I saw Alan saying things like, ooh, any 1K Hold'em tournament has a great structure. It's going to be multiple days. It's going to be this and that, right? But every 1K Hold'em tournament I've played in that's multiple days has like over 300 players in it,
Yeah.
So like, if you have 50 people in your tournament, I don't care how much you bought in. You could get that done in a day, man. You got 30 people in your tournament. Like, if you sat people down in a cash game with 200 big blinds and said just play for 12 hours, there's a pretty good chance you'd be down to like 2 of them by the end of that day. So I don't think, in my mind, it doesn't scale the right way if there's not no players, but you know what I mean? Like, if you have fewer than 100 people, I mean, if you're starting at, I don't know when you started, if you're starting at 11, like, why do you have to play 2 days? Why do you play an 18-hour tournament if you only have 30 people in your event, if you have 40 people in your event?
Right, yeah. If it was a no limit tournament with 60 players, I would also not want it to be like a 2-day, 18-hour tournament. I mean,
right.
Same. Like, yeah.
So, okay, but is that like reasonable, like with a mixed game, even with the split pots and everything? Like, look, if you've only got 40 people, you guys can still wrap this up in a day. It's like, it's not, I mean, it should, there's nothing inherent about the mixed games that says like, look, even if you have one table, like, it's not going to be fun unless we get at least 12 hours,
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see them wrapped up in a day. Yeah, I remember when I first saw that they were 2 days, I was like not loving that, but it was like, whatever. If I make day 2, come back and you can probably reg the next day's mixed tournament, so it's not so bad.
Sure.
I don't like mind the day 2, but it's just like, I mean, if it's going to be 2 day, like they also need to like wrap up by like midnight at the latest, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think that dovetails a little bit with the, we brought up Kuhn's tweet that he did a couple weeks ago last week, talking about the old man tournaments. Let's start these things at 9 a.m.,
Yeah.
I mean, we're on board. I think you're on board, right? Like, it sounds like a similar complaint. Like, why, like, poker tournament and poker tournament players, you don't need to cater, especially not anymore, to cash game player life, right? Like, we want to have normal lives. We're playing tournaments partially because we like to know when it starts and when it ends, because we like to be able to tell our families, hey, this starts at 10, and then, if I play again, if I bag, I'll come back in 2 days on this time of day. Not like, I'm going to go play cash and, hopefully I'll come home. It's like...
Yeah, bagging a day one at like 8 p.m. just sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Just so awesome to be able to get home.
Yeah. Some of the WPTs have done that. Like I know Bellagio Cup has like done that a few times where they just play like 8-hour days, like bagging at like 8 p.m.
That's
like
awesome.
no dinner break. Yeah, it's great. I love that stuff. And yeah, so the sweet spot for me would be like 9 to 10 a.m. start. Would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And you
my
can
daughter
still
off at school at 8, and then
just go right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people can still late reg till 1 p.m. or whatever, and you know what, the people that are getting there at 3 will still go there at 1. It's not,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a few people who would like love it. I'm sure Alan would find a complaint in there, but
Yeah,
like
but,
we do like 10 a.m. start and keep it open till 2:30. Like seems reasonable, right?
He's a survivor. He would adjust. But so the one thing I can give a point of view on it with that Derek and I can give a point of view on, we have only played a single mixed game tournament in our life. We played a triple draw once at the Bike, and I think it was because the day one or something started much later. We were already bagged. I don't know. I would like to play more mixed game events, and maybe this isn't the appropriate comparison because this is like the mid-level mixed game event they run. Like there were $500 events last week and the week before that. Those ones I imagine were 1 days. So that's probably where we would start. So those are the 1 days. But, with your story, if I entered an event and it ended up being a small event and I played for 10.5 hours and then didn't cash, and now I also have to think about, that kept me from playing literally anything else all day. I don't know. I personally think I would fire. And once again, I don't know. Maybe the 1K is not the right place to put that thought. But if like the 500, I could play for 7.5 hours and then not cash, and the field was only 30 people or something. That would probably be a turnoff to me. I want, like, if it's a tiny field, I kind of want to just like get my feel for it. I don't want it to take that long, and especially not to take that long and make no money. I wouldn't mind playing for 10.5 hours in a mixed game event and not cashing if it was like, a 250 person event. That would be fun. But for some reason, a 40-person event, playing for 10.5 hours and not cashing, and then skipping all the hold'em events for the day, I don't know. I feel like that keeps me away because it's a 40-person event. I gave up a much bigger prize pool. Even if the hold'em event was a $200 buy-in compared to $1,000, they're probably comparable first place, to be honest. Like, it's probably like $4,000 for first either way. So it's like, maybe not with the 1K again, like it was the 500. So I don't know. Like, I feel like a slightly faster one, and also a faster structure especially for the cheaper ones. The cheaper ones could go more turbo in my mind, because just like with Hold'em, I have to think the faster structure is going to let people like me who don't know what they're doing luck sack and do better results faster or more often, right? So
yeah, like a lot of the irony is like the people who generally seem to prefer like the slower structures are also hurt the most by it in many cases.
Right.
But
Right.
I mean, I personally just don't like the whole, first like in the mix, like first like 2 to 3 hours of like nobody busts, because like it's just so deep that it's like impossible to bust.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean, I think you have a reentry tournament too, which like I mean, I know not everybody is like trying to fire multiple bullets, but still that option is there. So I think it's fair to just cut like a level or two off the beginning, so there's just not like so much time when you come busting. A little bit of time's fine, but like I think it's just too much where it makes it just take too long, and end day one too late.
All right, cool. So you said that they're chatting about things. They may have, they may be willing to make an adjustment, something simple like skipping the first level, or, I don't know, maybe repeating level 2 instead of doing 1 again. So you didn't get any indication, right?
I mean, I talked to Cairo on the phone earlier today, and he said he had a meeting and he was going to bring up like the ideas that me and some others were bringing up. So, but yeah, like I realized that making certain changes mid-series is tricky, like once the structure sheet's out and
Yeah.
everything. So,
Yep.
but yeah, maybe something like removing the first level,
Sure.
and like it could be doable.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I really hope that they take time to listen to you guys, because especially the mixed game community, it is so small and tight knit that I mean, literally, if 10 of you guys say this is a good idea, I mean, you were talking about 20% of the field. So, like, if they're not listening to you guys, this is a big problem. I mean, if you don't listen to 20% of your field, you know.
yeah, I mean, I was about 3% of the field yesterday since I was in for 2 bullets. So,
And you should have extra weight to your voice, you know?
Right? Yeah. You're paying for votes. Let's go. This is America. All right. Last idea that I wanted to float out there. This is another thing. So if I ran a room, I would do all sorts. And this is a good lead into later on when we talk about the Lodge's crazy event. If I ran a room, I would do all sorts of weird stuff like this. What about this? Pre-registration, you only have 1 or 2 instead of having 6 levels before reg, you have 1 or 2 levels, just like the optimal reg is still open levels, right? So it's not savage average the whole way through. Just pre-reg closing, you have, you'll have like a really deep level for like an out or for a third of the time. Then you have a medium-ish deep level for a third of the time. Then you have that just like late reg level for the last section. And then reg closes. Now you have your normal levels, whatever your regular tournament structure is.
yeah, I mean, for this one yesterday, like, yeah, it was 9 levels of reg, which was 6 hours. Like, even on the structure sheet, it was only listed as 6 levels, 4 hours, but then they said that was a mistake. So
Yeah. Yep.
even if it was just like as it was on the sheet, like that would have been, I think, definitely quite a bit better.
You mean if they had actually cut it off there? And
yeah, like I think it would help just like start thinning the field faster. I mean, there weren't even really that many re-entries toward the end anyway. I mean,
yeah,
but
right, because people will play a little more aggressively when the reg end is coming up, or because
I mean, not really. I don't think people are playing so much different. Maybe at the margins, I guess, but it's not like no limit where you can just like
yeah, you can't just jam. Yeah,
like I just have to play the limit games. But yeah, I mean, I just think, yeah, I mean, still just entries able to come up, or certain people like knowing they can reg to level 9, so just coming in at the last minute, that kind of thing.
Right. So they weren't there to. Yeah, I gotcha. They weren't there earlier
I'm
to
not
play.
sure how many people did that. I mean, it didn't seem like there were a lot of entries toward the end, actually, because I know that there was an over/under bet on that.
Oh.
Between 2 players in the field that some of us were sweating. So yeah, and I was watching the clock like not really tick up, but
it sounds like it sounds like you might have
go
lost that one.
Was it earlier? Yeah, under loss. Or I mean, sorry, over loss.
The over loss. Oh, okay.
Yeah, over loss.
All right. So yeah, so I know you. I mean, I know this, and this is having an impact because I know you personally. The reason you're sitting here talking to us because you skipped today's split pot Omaha 8 event, right?
Yeah, it was just limit Omaha 8 or better, which again, because that's generally a slow game anyway with a lot of chops. I just assumed it would probably go even later today than yesterday.
Yeah.
Or yesterday was horse, which has like two 1-winner games, and then 3 1-winner games and 2 split pot games.
Gotcha.
But this is so it's pure split pot. Like it should take even longer. So
yeah.
I do plan to probably play on Thursday. There's a TOE, the toe, which is triple draw, and then Omaha 8 steady. Triple draw, very fast, bloody game. So hopefully that helps a bit.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. So like I said, though, it is having a real impact. I mean, people like you are just. I mean, they lost 3% of the field today. That's huge. So they do. I really do hope they make these changes, and we will let you know, and we'll retweet all that when we see any kind of announcements like that. So here's hoping, and here's hoping they listen and there's a good response, and then they start maybe listening to some other stuff coming out.
Well, I know at least some people are listening, so yeah, I'm optimistic.
All right. Well, I know you're in there doing the online grind right now. Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to stay for another minute, we're going to talk about the Nacho story, and we'll mix in what you saw. If not, feel free to hop off and focus, and go and get those wins, get that money.
I can hang out for a few, sure.
All right, excellent. Well, since you are doing the thing that you and Derek are online players, I am just starting to play a little bit online because Club WPT Gold is interesting as a new thing. I probably will stop playing soon because I just don't like playing online. But big news out of the well. It's big news for online poker. It's honestly, to me, as a spectator, it's really just run-of-the-mill stuff for ACR. ACR, big surprise, controversy. Nacho, one of their big ambassadors, posts a picture of, I think the quote was something like, time to grind that venom or something. And he has 4 tables up and just casually has GTO Wizard open in the background. I mean, first off, what is your first thought? Like, how does that look? Is this just like a forehead slap? Is this is this alarming? Like, what do you guys think when you saw it first?
He was probably reading one of Derek's Twitter threads and just trying to chime in. So.
Honestly, like a guy like that needs to know better. I mean, like I don't really know him personally, but he just seems like pretty righteous kind of guy. I don't think he would go.
Well, apparently he's a goofball. According to ACR, he's a goofball.
I'll even get to ACR's communications. Anyways, but yeah,
he is a pretty goofy guy in my experience. But
this is true. Yeah, a professional of his caliber and public figure. The fact that he's a freaking ambassador for the site. I think he might even be a streamer. Like, how could you just not have GTO? Like, I have GTO Wizard open up in a couple of tabs, and before I play online, I actually go and close them all, even if I'm not streaming, because I just don't even want any sort of hint that I might be cheating. So he definitely should know better as a pro.
Yeah, I don't think he was doing anything malicious, but he definitely needs to be more careful. And ACR's tweet post about it was so bad.
Yeah. I put that up a second ago.
Yeah, he's just a lovable goofball.
Yeah,
there's something serious happened. It was an intern just tap something on their phone and just sent
just no accountability.
Of the worst PR statements. Remember the whole what was it with the bot? Where they were doing the bot challenge, where it's anybody could build a bot. It's just
if you could do a bot, I'll pay you. And then next thing, 500 bots show up on your site immediately.
And then they actually didn't tweet anything for 2 weeks after them, and they're so bad.
Yep.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's just such a lack of anything. They didn't say anything about what they do to make sure nobody cheats with GTO Wizard or Solvers. They didn't say anything about how they keep their site secure. They're just he's a goofball. We're sure he wasn't cheating. Just to ignore. Don't pay no attention to what any of this is.
Everything about them is so tone deaf.
Yeah, they need to find a new PR staff for sure. But I personally, I've played on ACR a pretty good amount, and I feel like it's not bad. I don't personally observe anything that seems obviously sketchy. Probably there are some people actually trying to RTA with GTO Wizard out there, but I don't know. I don't notice fishy things on there, whereas with Ignition, it seems a lot fishier to me. And curtailed my play quite a bit on there.
Yeah,
and shifted some of that to ACR even. So, yeah.
Yeah, so somehow, credit to Nacho. Somehow he is, escaping this pretty much unscathed, more or less.
Well, he did voluntarily blind out his stacks on day 2 of the Venom, which was
the Venom.
Cool. That's a pretty big equity donation.
He did. Now, I believe Caitlin did a parody video where she points out that ambassadors probably don't need to buy into the Venom on their own dime. So it's thank you for giving up your equity. But
yeah, that's a good point.
It's not like you gave up real money, probably. But it's a gesture. It is a good gesture. And, also Pads jumped on this and took many, many hours of his own time to do an investigation. And Pads in the community has a really sterling reputation as well, and he's kind of giving Nacho a pass as well, saying there's no GTO detected here, there's no cheating detected there.
On the other end of the spectrum is Patrick Leonard, who is probably one of the most legit, people in the game right now. He's always standing up for the right thing, and he just literally just took his own time and spent a day combing through the hands and comparing it to GTO Wizard outputs. And then he actually publicly put it out there and be here's all the information, you guys can look for yourselves. Yep. He insta wrote a better PR statement for ACR.
Oh, absolutely.
I saw that.
Did you see that? I was well, that's perfect. And I responded to that, and I was if they wrote something like this, I would think their account was.
Yeah, he's I guess he's working with, he's either an ambassador or associated with more so with Coin Poker right now. Is what I was hearing. I saw him talking on the Only Friends podcast earlier. He's talking about his involvement with Coin Poker and what he would do if he was this or that, and the things they are avoiding to try and have more integrity, which is awesome. But I think his concern there is just with all the bad press and with all the things that your cat is killing your connection.
I don't
With
even
all
know what button she
yeah,
just pressed.
she just tried to connect. We're getting green screens, man. He's concerned that these bad PR looks are just going to build up and kill online poker because online poker has been getting strangled out somewhat by all of this stuff, and he's concerned. He's just trying to stop any more bleed when he can, right? Like he sees something that looks bad, but this one's not bad, so he can help prove it, right? Because there are people who are cheating, right? There are people who are using that when they shouldn't, or using too much, and it's like it's hard to gauge how many, but like you saw on Ignition, there are entire stables of people doing bad cheaty things, very cheating things to suck EV out of the environment, right? Like what you saw was just the most blatant card sharing collusion and premeditated. It's not like opportunistic. Like that only works if they have a very sophisticated way to jump into the same table together, right?
Well, it's not very sophisticated. You just have to on Ignition. You just have to register at the same time, and they just see everybody who registers at the same time.
Sure.
Together.
Yeah, you just have to snap all time the registration together.
Pad room, right? That's it.
Yep. It's like synchronize your watches. Now, I didn't
just have your bot click reg 9 times
Yep.
at once. Yeah.
I didn't read your post closely enough. Were you just observing the table, or were you stuck at the table with them?
So basically last Sunday, I heard from a friend who was playing the 1K that this kind of stuff was going on, and that kind of was like, oh, it could be collusion, but it could just be, a bunch of pros who are like exploiting, because Ignition also has you able to reg in some tournaments with like 5 big blinds. So like I've actually played tournaments on there where I've just like folded to the money and like never put a chip in the pot and just folded to the money.
Yeah.
So I was like, it could be pros just like exploiting the dumb structure. But then the next day I played a $500 tournament, and it was like a few away from the money. I like started pulling up the other tables, which I do sometimes.
Right.
And I noticed on one of them, it was just like that was going on. Just like max tank every decision,
Yep.
Some really shady like action where like 3 people would limp, and then like check to the river, and then like one person would bet and everybody would fold. Like
yep.
Just very suspicious.
Or
stuff.
the worst hand would bet out the next 2 winners so that the short stack could win or something.
Right. Yeah. The worst were like and then the next day when I was just observing the 1K, I got video of this where like one player is forced all in, and then they like all check to the river, and then like the worst hand just like bets the other 2 like hands out, so then
the short stack lives,
still
right?
win with like bad pair.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So messed up. I mean, poker is hard enough as it is for you to have to pay attention to this. It's like terrible. That's like the operator's job, and they can't even do something simple like that. It's just unbelievable.
It's very frustrating. I mean, I still play on there most largely because A, there's not many options, and B, there are still value tournaments on there. Like, if I play a nightly, like, there's like $100 mystery bounty every night, and like there's some really soft players in there. Like it's like unparalleled with the other online sites I play on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, support in my experience is like nearly non-existent. I actually did in the last week like communicate with them more than I ever have, but like still not. They still like won't release any findings. They just ask for some information, and they're like, oh well, if we decide to make any like site changes, we'll let all the players know. I'm like, okay, great. So no.
Yeah.
But so just personally, I'm just avoiding anything that's like small field. Like if it's like under like 150 players in the field, probably just not playing because too much of a risk of it, that kind of thing. I've heard about it even in like smaller buy-in tournaments. Like there's like a nightly like $33 PLO8 tournament, but like small field, and
right.
I've heard same stuff
That's
goes on there.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah. Yep. It's bad.
So that's why I don't play online, guys. That and no.
I mean, honestly, like I love playing online, and ACR is obviously the biggest prize pool tournaments. I haven't played on ACR in, I want to say at least 6 months. It's possibly been a year. Like I just won't play on it.
Well,
because afraid of like play stuff, or
no, he's too busy. He's too busy chasing the player of the year and getting his shot.
There's also that.
Yeah, if you just stop grinding those points, so I can catch up.
I just feel like I don't know at this point, like deep in a tournament, am I getting RTA'd? Am I getting ghosted? Right. I also still question.
Yeah, ghosting is a real concern. I would say there's like you hear of like stables from places like Brazil, where like I mean that could be happening. Yeah.
Because usually I'm only playing like the big ones on Sundays with the big prize pools, right? So God forbid I make a final table with 300K and I don't know what the hell's going on. It's terrible.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel okay-ish on there, but yeah, it's not, with any online site nowadays, especially the unregulated sites, it's far from perfect. I know you play on WSOP a lot when you're in Vegas. It
I do, yeah.
seems pretty
That,
good from what I've
that
seen. I
one
mean,
that, that one seems fine. Although I know like a lot of the high stakes guys complain about like getting to final table. There's always like every single one. They're always complaining about this person all of a sudden started playing like super good. And I'm like, man,
I've heard
even
about
in
that
W,
historically, yeah. I
yeah.
know like this past World Series they made all the final tables like live so that people had to like show up and play.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Which
smart.
is
Yeah.
good, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and it's
Yeah.
good for press also, just to be able to stream that stuff too. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm crossing my fingers for WPT Gold. I just kind of messed around with a little bit on some of their like gold coin ones, but I'll try to get some money on there to play some of the SC, the
yeah,
sweeps.
I've been playing a little of the
Oh
cash,
yeah.
low stakes cash games.
Yeah.
They seem fine.
I'm playing cash on there right now, so good.
Oh, great. Yeah, I think with their know your customer and their validation, I mean, I feel like with World Series site and sites like that, they make botting a lot harder, and they make things like, I guess things like ghosting a little bit harder, but I don't think they really do a lot to prevent. I mean, there's not much you can do, but I don't think they really do much to prevent RTAing as much, right? But I think just being able to prevent and reduce the number of bots that you have to worry about and the amount of abuse that can be automated against you, I think that helps a lot. So that's definitely a big piece, a big percentage, I think, because it's harder to do volume against you, right, in a big pool, so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the security stuff kind of remains to be seen. I know I listened to the staff of like WPT Global on like a podcast not that long ago, just talking about game integrity and all the stuff they do, and that sounded pretty impressive on their end. I mean, Global is like the one that's like non-US players,
Right.
so
Yeah, I
but,
remember a
yeah.
tweet from one of their guys, and I was like kind of reading like some of their measures that he was like talking about publicly, and I was like, wow, that's actually like super impressive.
Yeah,
You
so
guys are taking it
hopefully
pretty
they do
seriously.
the same thing with this, because they are separate sites and they could very easily be separate teams, but hopefully they have all the crossover and the expertise crossover and everything. So
Yeah.
all right, well, let's talk
I'm
about
optimistic. I mean, they have the WPT behind them too, so there's
Yeah.
a lot of incentive
Yep.
to like just run a clean ship,
Yep,
and
yep.
because they'll
They have
do
to protect
really
that
well
name.
if they have a good site. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm banking on that a lot too, hopefully. All right, so let's talk about something more fun than online poker, which would be like anything. But the over at the lodge, or did you have one more? Do you have one more closing thought?
I just what could be more fun than online poker?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Just tying my shoes, and brushing my teeth. Over at the lodge, they had a unique mystery bounty event this weekend. They called it the Mystery Bounty Chaos, and
Oh man,
I've been complaining
that's so
about the
much
number.
fun.
Yeah, I've been complaining about the number of bounty events that Commerce is having in this series. 3 of their majors are bounty events, which I felt like was a little extreme. But like, for some of these small ones, like, instead of running that mystery bounty on top of the mystery bounty, maybe they should have thought of something like this. Because for me, when I see this, it seems like they're taking poker and combining it with like a fun board game almost. And as a board gamer, I love that. So here they have some video from the lodge of people pulling their mystery bounties, and they are not all money. They are things like ticket to the final table. This guy just made the final table by pulling the bounty.
Oh wow!
I think there's only one of those. This guy got new river card. It's like a superpower. I believe he can just get a new river card pulled when he wants it. I don't know if he trades that in or if he can just always do it. I'm guessing he trades it in. And then I have here the list of what these things are, the advantages, and then there are penalties as well, though. So like these are some of the things. This is kind of fun. So it's kind of a fun thought experiment. What would you add to this? The advantages they have here. Let me read some of these off. So they had monetary values, but they also had add an average stack amount of chips to your current stack. Bam.
That's so awesome.
Seat or table change. Like you just have a card that I'm guessing it's like Monopoly Get Out of Jail. I just want a table change. Put this in. C, immunity. Whoever has this can void a hand they are involved in at any time. Void a hand there. Like if I'm losing right now, I just throw it in and everything goes back to before. That's crazy.
Man.
D,
It's
respawn.
awesome.
If eliminated, you get a free buy-in for average stack. That's crazy.
Wow.
E, steal the button. You pick when, but you just say, all right, I'm the button next hand. That's great. New river card before the action. You replace it. You burn. I'm guessing you have to trade these in before the action on the river. Okay, so they put the river out, and then before anyone bets, you say, I want a new river. So awesome. G, never pay a small blind. That's awesome.
This look like so much fun. It almost just feels like with enough of these, you turn No Limit Hold'em into a little bit of an unsolved game.
Yeah, and you turn into like
Yeah.
you trying to get a
absolutely.
superpower. It's a $300 buy-in. Now, when I do mystery bounties, I never pull the bounties until I'm eliminated. But with this one, I would want to, because other than the average stack thing, I would want to get these advantages, right? What else we have? Win the button.
Yeah.
So when a player wins the pot, they have the option to also win the button up to 3 times. Cool. Win with 7 deuce. If you win the pot with 7 deuce and you show it, you get 1 big blind from every player. There you go. I've been saying we should do this in tournaments in general, 7 deuce bounty. So you get 1 big blind from every player. Can you imagine if you're at that guy's table and you get knocked out from it?
And imagine you just do it when you're a short stack with like 3 bigs or something, right?
Oh,
And
what? No, you win every time. You try and win every time because you get an extra 9 bigs if you win that pot.
It's true.
But imagine if you're the guy, the short stack, who's trying to make the money, and this guy knocks you out because he won a hand you didn't play with 7 deuce.
That's true too. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many like fun things
Yeah,
about it.
and then you got to run it twice, and then you have a ticket to the final table. Cool. And then they have penalties. All right, penalties. Pay a nit tax. So that's 3 rounds of blinds and antes in the next hand played as a splash pot. Ooh, okay. You have to just pay that in a splash pot. You're not permitted to play your button for a level. Ugh. You lose half your stack rounded down to the lowest chip in play. No,
Wow.
no raising for an orbit. Whoa, no raising at all. Forfeit all monetary bounties collected to the prize pool. Oh, geez. Oh, that's a nasty zonk.
That's a nasty one.
Switch stacks with the shortest stack in the tournament. Oh.
Are there any that you just like snap busts?
Let me see here. Forced tag. Here's one. Forced tag team. Once 2 players have drawn the forced tag team card, their stacks will be combined, and they will be able to tag in and out of 1 combined stack, and they split all prizes and bounty.
Wow.
That's hysterical.
Wow.
Yeah, Brian, if I pull that with you, I think you're just gonna play it all the way through, man.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
No, just like imagine just pulling it with like some completely random person though.
I know, right? But that's what now you're in this together. That's awesome. So those are the ones they listed. If they thought of more, they could add them, because it says here that these are not limited to these, but these are the ones they listed in their in this sheet I found. So that's really cool. And I think they did this last year. I'm guessing they added to it. So super fun. Like I liked DJ used to do this with the Hold'em series, do goofy tournaments, I think in fact that's where the bounty only event started, and he also did his 9 hours times up tournament. So he liked to do that with the events. Now this LAPC, I've been joking but not really joking. I really feel like they just took last year's and then like added an extra bounty event in and then just called it a day. But I guess it's not bad. And to that end, like I said before, about the listening, there are so many. I've been at the players, and when we notice something off, like, hey, this event's too fast. Hey, this event actually is decent, but it's so cheap and it's a 1 day. What the heck? So many people have volunteered to help them for free. Will help. Salzburg would help. Scott Stewart said he would help. Just talk to them. Send them the schedule. Ask them before the next series. They will help. Yeah. And I know what most of them will do. They'll pick their favorite events that they've played, and they'll be like, you know what? This was an awesome series this other guy did. Let me look it up. Why don't you copy these structures? It's like,
that's all they have to do.
It's not that hard. Hard.
Yeah, Cairo actually mentioned today he was going to look at like the win mixed game structures and like use that as like a reference point. So
please,
nice.
Right? If that's the ones you guys like, then yes, why not? Like that's if I would 100% do that. I'd be like, hey, Brian, what is the best mixed game you've ever played? 1K mixed game tournament you ever played? And we would just start there. Like, why do I need to learn more about this and go out? Just start. Just copy.
Yeah, there's no IP on these things.
Yeah, they can't copy. They can't copy 400, 800. I mean, they can't copyright that. All right. So the last topic we were going to talk about today was, this came up again, as it does every year, maybe twice a year, is Savage getting online and talking about speech play / table talk / whether or not Jamie Gold ruined tournament poker for everybody. I don't know. I always have kind of mixed feelings on this, because as a rules guy, I love rules, and as a fairness guy, I love keeping people from doing things that hurt others. However, I play poker live because it's more fun to play live, and as you know, I love to talk. So this is such a tough one for me, because it really does cut down the fun factor by a ton. But it is, I do understand that if you say anything that, if you give away information like that, you are hurting every other player in the tournament, right? So
Yeah, that is Savage's point.
It's so tough.
Yeah, I also want to say, like, we should just keep doing things to protect amateurs, right? If we lean one way or the other with the rule, we're kind of not sure which way to go. Just go the way that helps amateurs. And I also feel like, preventing some amount of table talk during hands is gonna help amateurs, right? They're the ones gonna get put in real tough spots, right? By somebody who's very good at that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and I mean, I think the main thing that comes up for me is just like, yeah, anything that like could be collusion in any way, like just telling any kind of information sharing that could help the two players in a hand, like you make better decisions that hurt the rest of the field. Like got to be vigilant for that. But yeah, Derek makes a good point too. I just think like, yeah, at the end of the day, like speech play is going to be like, savvy, like, pros or regulars just like exploiting like more recreational, like inexperienced players for the most part. So yeah, but it does add to the fun. So I mean, I do think there should be some element of it. Yeah, there are times at the table where like I hear floors like hushing people, and I think it seems like extreme to me. But yeah, I mean, I agree with Derek. Like if anything, like lean toward like just protecting the recreational players.
For sure.
And I've had some regs too just say to me, like sometimes on the river, like I got it, just fold, and they mean it, and I'm just like, okay, but I'm like, well, that's a little bit of collusion, and I just pulled me into doing that. So yeah, we should be careful about that kind of thing.
Yeah, and we have a whole nother episode, and I think we have talked about before about what regs say around other regs in LA. That's just not right. That's just wrong. But so we won't go down that particular rabbit hole. But no, I'm with you guys. Like I would love to bring more of the fun back, but the fact of the matter is it's just so hard to police. Most floors either let you talk way too much, or they, like you said, kind of over police. And it's because, they're not there for the whole conversation. They're not listening. Some of them don't even understand what is or isn't giving things away. It's just too hard to police. So the only consistent way to do it is just say like, hey, just don't really talk during the hand. I mean, one thing though that I do want to point out that everyone does not know is that this rule actually goes away when the tournament literally gets to heads up. So, and this is a confusion that a lot of people have when they try to read the rules, is because this clause is in there. It talks about when it's, when the tournament is heads up or something to that effect, that you can talk and say whatever you want, and people misinterpret that to mean when the hand is heads up. But no, they literally mean when the tournament is down to 2 people and 2 people only, then you can say whatever you want, because there's no one else to be hurt by what you're saying. There's no other value that you can be giving or taking away other than the literal 2 people in the hand. So that,
Yeah, that makes sense to me, sure.
Yeah. So just so you know, if you get to the very, very end of the tournament and your head's up, you can say anything you want about your hand. You can talk about your hand every single hand. You can do whatever, and that is the rules. And I know for sure I've read that in the World Series rules. So, if it comes up, another reason not to chop, so you can have fun talking heads up as much as you want. It's the only time you get to do it.
Yeah, if you're a fan of speech play, just all you have to do is get heads up in the tournament, and you can do whatever you want.
I know, that's it. That's all. Easy. All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Brian. I hope you have been having a profitable hour with us here. We are at the point where we're just going to go over what's coming up and what we're going to be playing this weekend. So I know you're going to be probably going back in there on Thursday, you said, for Toe? Or is that Toe, right?
Pretty sure I'll be in there for Toe, yeah.
Will you be making any appearances for this XXL Bounty event that's going on?
So I actually can't, because I'm taking my family to the Lakers game on Saturday. I just heard Luka Doncic is supposed to make his debut.
I was going to say, is that it? Oh, did you already have tickets beforehand or no?
You had the tickets before?
Yeah, I got the tickets like a week ago.
Oh, wow. That's amazing, man. How good are you running?
Like 4X, but,
how good are you running?
Running good.
I mean,
man,
it's going to be my daughter's first NBA game, so.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be a fun one to do it. But,
wow.
Yeah, so for that reason, I will not be playing the XL Bounty.
All right.
But,
I think
should be there next week. Should be there to play some Millen with you guys next week. So.
I think those 4 tickets are definitely worth more than you're likely to win in the XXL Bounty. So.
Yeah. But also just awesome. You're going to get to watch like the first game of two of the top 3 players in the league.
Right, the experience of getting LeBron and Luka to play together for this brief window where happens is
All right.
priceless.
So maybe we'll have you on again next week to talk about the game.
Or maybe you can live stream.
All right. Okay. Awesome. Yep. So thank you very much. We'll see you then,
All
and then
right,
we'll
yep.
see you for the classic the week after.
All right, thanks for having me,
All
guys.
right.
Take it easy.
Thanks, Brian.
See ya.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure. All right. Yeah, so that's insane. Wow. No wonder he didn't cash. He's got way too much luck going on this week.
Yeah.
And before we go any further, I just want to say I take offense to this XXL Bounty event. When I saw that on the schedule and I saw that the bounties are twice as much, my first gut reaction was like, "Oh, okay, they're taking twice as large a percentage for the bounties, and that's why they're twice as much." But no, they're not. It's the exact same percentage, it's the exact same structure as the XL Bounty. It's just twice the buy-in, right? Which I guess makes sense. It's the easy way to do it, but see, right?
Is that what it is? Oh.
Did you think what I thought? That I
I
thought.
thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was some crazy turbo, or not turbo, but some on steroids.
Yeah, I thought
bounty.
so. I thought say they took 30% of the prize pool for bounties in the XL Bounty. I thought they were going to take 60% of the prize pool for the bounties, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they just doubled the buy-in.
No, it's just this. So how did the payouts work for that one?
So
the XL.
So for the XL, $150 per person went to the bounties, and then 1 in 10 made the money. So the bounties on day 2 were $1,500.
What was the buy-in again?
$400.
150 went to bounties?
Yeah. Or was it 600? But it was definitely 150 because it was $1,500 bounties for day 2.
Oh, I would have thought that'd be because usually it's like half the prize pool's the bounty. That's interesting.
Well, 400 buy-in, 320-ish for the total, right? Because they take their 80 rake or whatever, and then
right.
right.
Okay, yeah.
So
Okay,
that is
yeah.
roughly half.
Yeah. That doesn't.
Yep. So then they doubled it, and now it's $300 towards the thing, and like $350. I'll bring it up. So yeah. So I was very as a pedantic, word person or rule person, that bugged me. I'm like, that's lame. And you know why? Because, and I was trying to say, it's because the bounty's twice as big. And I'm like, it's not though. The bounty is twice as large in a monetary way, but it's not twice as big, So, and look, here's the XL Bounty. It was, it was a $400 buy-in, 180 of the prize pool, 150 of the bounty. So it was, it was around half, right?
That's crazy because it's a 3K bounty on a $800 buy-in.
Right. So
it's
yep, in the money bounties. So it's double that. So instead of 400, now it's instead of 180 prize pool, 150 bounty, it is 400 prize pool, 300 bounty. So you save $20 in rake, but it's double. Everything's double.
I see.
Yep.
Wild.
Yep. And it's the same as the XL. So there's nothing wrong with the structure. I mean, I thought the XL I thought the structure of the did I bag the XL? I did. Yeah, I thought the structure of the XL was not great, but so here's the reason that I'm being pedantic about it is it's the same tournament, it's just a bigger buy-in. So when you have a bunch of regular no limit hold'em tournaments, right? If you have a $250 tournament and it has 30-minute blinds, you call that no limit hold'em tournament, sure. And then say I have a $400 tournament, I copy the exact structure, the exact everything. Do I call that the super no limit hold'em tournament? And then when I run my 1K with the same structure, do I call it the mega ultra no limit hold'em tournament? And then when I run my 5K with the same structure or the same payout structure, do I call that the XXL Ultra no limit hold'em? No, I call it the 250, the 500 no limit, and the 1K one no limit, right? I don't call it the X. If I increase the buy-in, it's not the X no limit hold'em tournament and the XXL no limit hold'em tournament. XXXXL, like these high rollers aren't. We don't call them the super duper megas. They call them 100K. So this is sure, you made up a name for the in the money big bounty XL. Okay, you call it the XL. Gardens calls it big bounty. Other people call it whatever. But then XXL, that's not a different tournament. It's the same thing. You take that prize pool, you do the 1 in 10, you make that the big bounty. It's the same thing.
They should have made it XXL plus or XL plus. XL plus.
Sure, if they want, they could do that. But the same argument, it's like, come on, man, what are you doing? Like, you're making up new words, which should mean something. It should mean that's a different kind of tournament. Ugh. We have Brian Caballo in the chat here talking about that. Someone in LAPC press coverage, guys, said that the structures are different at each casino because of the laws governing the card room. I wonder if you could clarify if you mean structures or if you mean, like, I know that's the reason they have different cash game structures, and I know it's the reason they run sometimes different events. Like, in order to run fun tournaments like the ones, they could never run one like the Lodge did. It's too weird. They'd have to get it approved. But the reason that they don't get to run fun things, like DJ wanted to run a Run It Twice tournament, and he wanted to run a No River tournament, and he couldn't run those tournaments because those needed to get approved by the California Gaming Board. And they didn't do it fast enough for him to run the event.
Yeah,
he submitted the
that.
applications, and he didn't get them fast enough, so he had to replace them with regular tournaments. So that is a thing. So, like, for instance, if you wanted to run a forced 3-blind cash game, you need to apply with the gaming board to get them to approve that. Literally, I believe if you want to run different buy-in amounts for your cash game, you have to apply if you don't already have it. So, like, if you're running 2-3 with a $60 to $200 cap, and you say, I want to run 2-3 with a $100 to $500 cap, I think you have to apply again and get another license from the gaming board to run that. I could be wrong there, but I think that's how it works. So that may be what they were talking about there. Okay, all right, rant over. Let's talk about what's coming up. We've already alluded to some of it. We'll start at the LAPC, the big event in town. This weekend is the Super Bowl weekend, so they're not trying to fight too hard. That is why the day 2 of this XXL Bounty is on Saturday, because Sunday is the big game.
I didn't even realize that Super Bowl was this weekend.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of over it. They're like, it's the Chiefs again, and whatever. We would care a lot more if it was the LA versus who did they want on the other side? Bills.
It could be LA versus LA.
Or something. It could have been.
Yeah.
Yep. So this week, as we talked about, we have some more mixed games happening. 29th. Oh, they're going back down. Am I in the wrong week? What day? Yeah, I am in the wrong week. Here we go. We have mixed games happening. February 5th, they have the 1K Omaha 8. February 6th, they have the 1K Toe. These are actually 1100s. I'm calling them 1Ks. And then on Friday, they have the mixed triple draw for 1100. And then they have the day ones of the XXL going on all week. And that day 2 is on Saturday. That will also have a $400 one day at noon. No guarantee, just like the others there. And then on Sunday, they will be holding a bounty event at noon. The bounties are $100 bounties immediately right off the bat, $400 buy-in. And they will be holding a deep stack bounty at 4. That's $50 bounties for $250. And those are the only real events that day. So on Super Bowl Sunday, they're not competing with the game very much. I don't know. I wouldn't have cared. Like you said, I guess they were... they figured if LA made it, maybe no one would want to come. But given the teams, I think they could have just done their normal thing this week. But, you can't predict that.
I'd say people really just make a big deal out of the Super Bowl. It's like, yeah.
I mean, as long as you have it on in the room, I think most people would not care about day 2.
Yeah.
So whatever.
I think people like throwing parties and stuff. And
Yeah, but it is a party. Whatever. It's a party.
yeah, it's our party.
Yeah. So that's what's going on there. And then the following week will begin the satellites and the flights for the event I've been waiting for all series. And probably you, Derek, the Commerce Classic begins next Tuesday at 12 p.m. with Flight 41A. Tuesday, 12 o'clock. Looks like they have some mixed games happening and some other various things happening at around 11 or noon. But the big thing next week starts on Tuesday. Commerce Classic, $1,200 buy-in, $1 million guarantee. Let's go.
Yeah, I gotta warn people too. I have been running so bad, so I've been shaking out a lot of these crazy coolers and bad beats, and also really oddly, so Frank hit us up in the group chat and told us that the Commerce had actually posted the last event, like pretty quickly.
Oh yeah,
on Hendon Mod.
Yep, in Hendon. Yep.
Yeah, and so right now my Hendon ends in 888. Like the last 3 numbers end in 888. So maybe I should actually skip this weekend and just wait for the
cash.
freaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
You
no
can't
cash in
afford
it
to get a
there.
cash because you'll use up your 888 luck.
Right. Yeah, I need that for the classic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
All right, we'll see indeed. Hopping over to Hollywood Park, they have a slightly special event for this weekend. So on Friday, the 7th, they're having a 20K guarantee, $100 bounty event. So 20K guarantee, it's a $300 buy-in, 100 of it goes to bounties, and that starts at 10 a.m. on Friday. The other weekend events over there, kind of their normal, 10K bankroll builder on Saturday, 4K deep stacks on Monday. Yep, everything's kind of normal after that. Same story at both the Bike and Lucky Lady and at the Gardens. They're having their regular dailies going on. So I didn't see any special events happening at any of those places. Once again, the Bikes guarantees for Saturday and Sunday, both 20K. I haven't seen an adjustment for the Super Bowl. Keep your eye on Jeff's Twitter. If there's any change, that is where I would expect it to be, but there aren't any, so I do not anticipate a change. Sunday might be a good day to go catch the game at the Bike, play in their 20K guarantee. I only have 2 buy-ins on their dailies, I believe, so far, and you need 5 to qualify for the free roll with the shortest stack, so I'm a little ways off there. However, I will not be able to get any more buy-ins probably this weekend because I'm actually going to be going up to Vegas to play in the MSBT at the Venetian. I will not be playing the XXL Bounty this weekend. So
That looks like a really good event. I can't get out of town, but that looks like a really good one. So good luck to you, buddy.
thank you. And, you don't have to worry. Even if I do well, it doesn't count for our player of the year because it's in Vegas.
Oh,
not
yeah,
LA,
that's
so
right.
Don't worry.
Man, I freaking got screwed on that with my December.
the-
Jesus.
Yep. So I will be heading up. It's really cool. They are going to be opening their streaming room for the final table of that event. So that would be awesome. I guess Poker Go is going to help them run that. The only downside is that because it's Super Bowl Sunday, they're just skipping that day. So I'm going to play the day 1 on Friday. The day 2, hopefully I'll play on Saturday. And then if you make the final table, they just skip Sunday. And then you come back
then put on
on Monday. Yeah. So
yeah.
So at least
Man,
though,
Super Bowl's really disrupting your weekend.
I know. At least that's final table though. So if I do have to be inconvenienced and shift my work schedule around for that, it will be final table. So
Are you gonna try to find a Super Bowl party on Sunday, or are you gonna just?
no, I'm gonna be staying with some friends. I have a friend who started dealing up there at the Venetian actually. I have to check. It'd be cool to check out their poker room for first time for all this. And so I'll be hanging out with them. So whatever their plan was, I mean, I don't care about either of the teams. I don't really care about the Super Bowl. So I'm
Just beer and pizza and wings.
if
Be a
I
good
miss
time.
it completely, I don't even care. So
Just like eat with your back to the TV,
yeah,
like,
like
you're
that.
protesting.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Totally fine. I mean, I'm not protesting. I love football, but I just don't care. So Derek's gonna decide if he wants to save his lucky number. It may or may not be in there. Derek's
Tough
gonna
one.
be in there. I know you're gonna be in there. We all know you're gonna be in there.
You know, it'd be funny if I play and I just avoid getting all the bounties.
No.
Actually, no, it wouldn't.
What'd be
Well, the
funny
bounty.
is if
No,
you
the bounty's
play.
3K.
It's
The
3K.
bounty
You
is
want
3.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's zeros, so it wouldn't affect things. You mean?
Right.
But you would also have to cash at a ladder that's
Cash,
zeros, all zeros.
yeah.
That'd be tough.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out a way to place exactly.
Yeah. No. This is what would happen though. Is if you go, you're either going to get destroyed, and then you're gonna say, this 8-8's not luck, or you'll ship the whole thing, somehow like not get many bounties, and then you'll get destroyed in the classic, and you'll be so upset that you wasted your luck, or you'll get like second so that you don't get the Remington.
I'll
and
min
then
cash with no bounties just to screw the 888.
yeah, and then you'll be so mad. Hey, thanks, Ed. I think you're saying good luck to me for this weekend. All right. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out. We went a little long this week. We had a special guest. Hopefully we can get some more special guests when we try to do that when we don't know what we're talking about. We don't want to be completely talking out our behinds here. So thank you, Brian, for coming on. And thank you all for joining us. I have got nothing else, and I forgot to run the music before the roundup this week. Darn it.
Wow, it's like your first time you missed it in maybe ever.
Yeah, Brian, and that XXL name thing just got me all riled up.
Yeah, don't do that.
All right, you got any closing thoughts for the people?
No, whatever you do decide to play, we hope to see you at the tables this weekend. If not, enjoy your Super Bowl Sundays, whatever you're doing. Eat some good food, hang out with your friends, get some good beer, drinks, and all that good stuff.
Yep, take it easy. It'd be nice. It's starting to rain finally around LA. It's good to have a couple weekends without
Yeah.
anything on fire. And if you're up